Hey nerds, and welcome to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Theories and Conspiracies. I'm Brian from Good Nerd Bad Nerd. So, I was off for a couple weeks, but I'm back now, and we had a really big episode. We had a lot happening with Hydra, and a possible introduction of a new secret warrior. Fingers crossed, we'll see. But first, let's talk about what happened this episode and how it relates to a theory I had. Stephanie Malick, daughter of Gideon Malick, played by Bethany Joy Lenz, she was straight up killed by Hive this week. So does that put a pin in the theory that I had that she would become Madam Hydra? Well, not necessarily. And here's the kind of how this fits into the theory I had. One, Madam Hydra was brought back to life by Hive. Viper, who becomes Madam Hydra, was killed by the current Madam Hydra as she betrayed Hydra to Leviathan. I'm trying to say Hydra as many times in this episode as I can. She was betrayed and was killed, but Hive brought her back to life. So now we have Hive having just killed Stephanie, but we don't see her actually get deteriorated as much as we saw Hive do that to other people. So it's possible he wasn't planning on keeping her dead, but rather would bring her back to life. We know he has no problems with using people that he has absorbed or controlled to manipulate others, so this would be another way he could control and manipulate Malick. Plus, this does come straight out of the comics. Like I said, Hive has already brought her back to life in the comics. It wouldn't be that far of a stretch to bring her back to life, and I believe it was Jed Whedon who said, nobody in Marvel stays dead, and Hive has the ability to kind of reanimate corpses, bring them back to life. But it's not that far of a shot, especially since the S.H.I.E.L.D. team spent so much time talking about how Hive, basically could bring corpses back to life, or at least reanimate them. So that is still a possibility. It is still possible that Bethany will be back on the show. We talked to her about it last night on this week's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. After Show. If you haven't seen it, check it out. She talks all about her experience on the show and filming the scenes with Powers Booth and Brett Dalton and doing CG and kind of getting to play a villain for the first time. So it was a great interview, so make sure and check that out. But the possible new secret warrior that we had this week, James. Now this is the guy who was an old, I'm not even going to say friend, but associate of Lincoln's. He got kicked out of the afterlife, and this is who Daisy and Lincoln had to go talk to. Now, there is a secret warrior by the name of James, and I will admit, when this story arc first started, I thought Joey was going to be this version of James, the MCU version of James. But now we have a James who is confirmed by the people in Afterlife to have the Inhuman gene, but was not given Terrigenesis because he was deemed unworthy. Well, James in the comic is a character who goes by the codename Hellfire. He goes by JT, but his name is James Taylor James, which his mom had a big thing for the musician James Taylor. So he was the son, actually, of a famed Western hero named Carter Slade, better known as the Phantom Rider, and he inherited this chain. It's called the Hellfire chain, and it basically it's imbued with Hellfire, and he could use it as a whip or as a weapon to do whatever he needed to do. He was recruited into the Secret Warriors task force by Fury, and at one point him and Daisy are actually in a relationship, and it's stated that the only reason he's staying around on the team, because he hates Fury, the only reason he's staying around is for Daisy. Now, it's possible they took some of the James character's motivations and aspects and put those into Lincoln, but it's still too big of a coincidence not to talk about this character, because we have a potential Inhuman named James who really is kind of a shady guy. And that plays into the other aspects of James, is that he was essentially bought out by Hydra. Baron von Strucker was paying him, he was an informant for Hydra, and he betrays the team. Now eventually Fury figures this out and kills him by dropping him off a cliff, but it's another interesting dynamic. If they do decide to bring him in on the team, I doubt they will go the route of having him betray the team to Hydra, since they've already done that with Ward, but it would bring another interesting dynamic. What do you guys think? Would you like to see James eventually get powers and join the team as Hellfire? Or do you think they've got enough of his characteristics in Lincoln that we don't need him specifically? Let me know what you think, and if you really want Stephanie Malick to come back, if you want Bethany Joy Lenz to come back as Madam Hydra, let me know below. We've started a hashtag Bring Back Bethany. We started on the after show this week, and it's kind of blowing up. Big props go to Daniel Jerome for that. He's from that hashtag show, so make sure and check them out as well. But until next week, let me know what you guys think. And don't forget to check out my other after shows for Supergirl and Flash. And let me know what you guys think and your theories are for the show. So until next week, I'm Brian from Good Nerd, Bad Nerd, and this has been the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Theories and Conspiracies.